taking three.
Going for the St. Louis now.
Oh no!
Son of a bitch.
You get your two?
Yeah.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course, and today we are going to take a look at a replay in the Fubuki. Yes, it has been a while. On the enemy team as well, you'll notice a few NGA members there. We've got Salazar, Brider, and Bad Karma. Now, we were doing time drops in the clan. They were actually dropping in tier 7s. I thought I'd try and drop into tier 8 and see what happens, and I got into the battle. So, we are going to head out. Now, the Fubuki is great destroyer, and I thought we should maybe, take a little look at her, considering, upcoming changes to the Japanese destroyer tech tree. Right now, Fubuki sits at tier 8. She's decent. Decent tier 8 destroyer. It just depends on, well, yeah, she's not really going to be good on her own, right? Like, if you want a more versatile destroyer, I guess you would want to go with an American destroyer, the tier 8 Benson. Great guns, excellent torpedoes, right? Just all around good. Where the Fubuki really excels is in concealment. I've got the 10-kilometer torpedoes loaded on her right now, and I like these torpedoes because it gives me really decent room to get those torpedoes off but still remain hidden most of the time, and that's what I really want to do when I'm in a Japanese destroyer, is just stay hidden and launch torpedoes, and the Fubuki does that quite well. The Russian destroyers, I mean, they are great as well, but really it's the guns are what you're going to want to focus on with your Russians, and the Americans, you can kind of do both, but your Japanese, again, are going to be basically pure torpedo boats. It is fun, though. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I went all the way up to the Shimakaze, and I enjoyed them all. The only one, actually, that I didn't have so much fun in was the tier 6, what's it called, Thotgor? Think of it. I know people are yelling at me right now. I can't remember. Minakaze, that's tier 5. Whatever. The tier 6 Japanese destroyer. Can't remember it now, but the name of it, but that's the only one that I really didn't enjoy. I really liked the Hatsuharu. Fubuki was great. Kagero was awesome. And the Shimakaze, yeah, lackluster, but I still have one. I'm still happy enough to have it. If, I do take her out often enough. Usually when I do take her out, it's going to be with other destroyers, because that's where we're going to really excel. Anyway, we do see some enemies start popping up, and we're on Shard. Shard's, the crazy map here where we've got small north and south points, and then we've got the larger center point here that we need to cap as well. It looks like my team has pretty much the south of the map taken care of. Looking at where the enemies are starting to pop up, it does look like the enemies are going to be focused on the northeastern point, maybe also trying to get into the center here. So, okay, I mean, I'm going to head over to there and see what I've got. Now, I do not have concealment expert for my captain, so 6.1 is the concealment rate. Now, that's with everything else, the flag, or well, not the flags, the camo and the module and all that stuff. That's what brings her down, and then I think I can get it even, I will get it even lower once I get that 15th captain skill, or 15 point for the 5th captain skill. That will be good times. But you can see as well what I mean by, the 10-kilometer torpedoes just being fine. I'm able to launch the torpedoes without too much hassle at all, right? I'm not going to get spotted unless, well, at this opening stage, it's going to be a destroyer that's probably going to spot me first of all. I'm managing to cap the point without too much issue at all, and that's always great. And the enemy continues their death march into the northeastern cap zone, so we're doing pretty good so far. The enemies do have the cap zone, and there we go. I do get spotted. We see Bad Karma and the Sims. Now, out of the 3 NGA players on the enemy team, based on the ships they're in, I was most afraid of Bad Karma, because that Sims can come over here and just wreck a Fubuki's day. With the guns, it could just happen. We've got Salazar and Brider and what is it, Guysnows? Not too concerned about that at all, because I can torp them well before they're going to be able to see me. The biggest issue with the Guysnow is just that she is very maneuverable, so it's going to be harder to actually land any sort of torps on the Guysnow. But I'm still feeling pretty safe right now, right? I'm in my smoke, capping the point. I do have enemy cruiser over here, Russian cruiser, that is of concern. But more importantly, the enemy destroyer, Bad Karma, isn't here anymore, so I don't really have to worry too much about, being driven out of this point for right now. So I'm more than happy just to stay here and continue the cap, and there we go, we start capping. We do see some torpedoes coming in, maybe from the Russian cruiser, although I'm pretty sure there's another enemy destroyer somewhere in there, yes, because obviously Thotgor, there's smoke. So there we go, enemy Hatsuharu pops up. So we're going to engage him in the guns with the guns immediately, and we can see that I do have some lucky torpedoes on the way in. There we go. Hatsuharu is gone. Fantastic. You'll notice too on the Fubuki that I'm running the B hull. I don't run the C hull at all anymore. I used to when way back when, but not anymore. The extra gun is so much more worth it. I don't find aircraft carriers in battles very often. I know that the weekend there just happened with all the event and whatnot, so they were out in force. But on average, don't see a lot of aircraft carriers, so I'm not really concerned. The little bump in AA I don't think is worth it when you lose that turret, because having that extra turret can really come in handy if you're being chased down, or you're put in a situation where you have to kind of gun battle it out with an American or a Russian destroyer, or American or Russian destroyer. So not necessarily the biggest thing that I want to do. Get a nice torpedo hit there as well. I think that was on Brighter, so that's not too bad. And you can see on the mini-map here that my team is really just owning this right now. We have the center, the allies who are down there at the southern point are now pushing to the north to come up here and back us up. We've got the enemies in an excellent position here in these islands where they're really clumped together, and we're just going to be able to throw torps down range and see how many we can hit. It's going to be pretty great. So we're going to get ourselves into position to do just that. We'll take a look at some of the enemy ships we have coming into range. We do still note Brighter over there. I believe he grounded himself or something, so I was pretty well set on getting some torpedo hits on Brighter here. Sorry, Brighter, if you're watching, but still, launching torpedoes, anticipating the fact that he's in a reverse right now because, did ground himself, and eventually he's going to go forward, and by the time my torpedoes get there, most likely he's going to be going forward. We'll also note the other enemy battleship that is crossing there in front of Brighter. We saw him briefly. There it is again. This player, if my torpedoes happen to miss Brighter, I might still be able to hit that player with some torpedoes that pass, beside Brighter. So there is that possibility. We're going to take a look to see what our torpedoes are going to do, and it doesn't look like these three are going to hit at all. I mean, again, the guys now is really maneuverable for a battleship. It's great. I mean, so is the Scharnhorst, but the guy's now very, very good. So not too surprised that he was able to dodge those torpedoes, but like I said, the other enemy battleship there off in the distance, not so lucky, right? I do get one torpedo hit, and we do see some more coming in, so there's two and there's three. So we do get a bit of damage done to that player, so that's decent enough anyway. We can see Brighter is on very low health, so I decided to open up with my guns. Figure, why the hell not? I am spotted, but I'm feeling pretty comfortable here at this point in time. There we go. Guys now is gone. Don't need to worry about him anymore. We can see the other enemy battleship there off in the distance. That player is in a real world of hurt right now as well. And my damage is going up, so that player is actually flooding right now as well. So we're doing pretty good on that front. We're going to turn ourselves around, and we're going to get ourselves back into position to start launching more torpedoes off as well. Now, I do know that, I've often mentioned with my Japanese destroyers, especially those that have the 3 torpedo launchers, that I launch 2 and save 1 in reserve. And this is still generally something that I do quite often. In this situation, though, right, because every battle is going to be different, but in this situation where it's just so one-handed right now, I don't really need to keep that third launcher in reserve, for the in-case scenario. I mean, if we take a look at the enemy ships that are remaining, there's only one enemy destroyer remaining. I'm pretty sure it's Bad Karma, and he's dueling it out with some enemies as well, so, I'm not too concerned about coming across that enemy destroyer. Instead, I, would rather shoot torpedoes downrange at some enemy battleships. That would be much more beneficial. So we've got torpedoes on the way there for Salazar. Sorry, Salazar, but those torpedoes are going to come in and hopefully do a bit of damage there as well. In the meantime, I'm going to get myself into position to potentially start capping that northeastern point, all depending on what the enemy does here. So you can see my third torpedo spread came up, and we'll just launch that right off, whatever. It should be fine. If we take a look at some of the enemy ships remaining, there's only 4 of them, a few battleships and a cruiser. Now I saw a bunch of firepower coming out of that, out of that smoke. So that is in Edinburgh, I think, the tier 8 British cruiser. So I really didn't want to get destroyed by that player. I get 2 torpedo hits on Salazar and managed to take Salazar down, so that's pretty great. We see the single shot torpedoes coming out, so yes, we do in fact know that this is going to be a British cruiser, and it is the Edinburgh. So we're going to engage it with guns. I'm still not seen, so I can just remain in my smoke, fire my guns at the player. Unfortunately, my torpedoes are reloading. Player's in a reverse anyway, so I wouldn't have any shots, but at the very least, I can just rack up a bit of damage here. You know, add to the damage I've already done, sitting on about 111,000, which isn't too bad at all. Edinburgh decides to go into forward motion now, facing off against our battleship. It does look like the player may go for the ram, or, you know, just trying to, you know, do the whole turn here to get the torpedoes fired from the opposite side of the ship. Doesn't quite work for the British cruiser, however, and that player gets taken down. 2 enemy ships remaining now. Now it's basically all ours, right? Excellent time to get in there and start capping that northeast point. 1 enemy remaining, and the last enemy, I'm pretty sure, is over here on this side of the map. Based on where our allies are right now on the mini-map, we have pretty good coverage. Nope, in fact, there the player is now, making some play on B. Meh, whatever. Let them have it. 974 points on the counter right now, so this battle is all but over. But I really did have a fun time in this. I mean, the Fubuki, she is a great destroyer at tier 8. As long as you play her properly, right? You do have to be relatively cautious. She's not the fastest destroyer by any means, so, you know, take your time with her and really try to line your shots up for your torpedoes. Anticipate where the enemy's going to go. So victory is ours. 115,000 damage dealt, 436,000 credits earned, a number of torpedo hits, and, you know, some kills there as well, so that's not too bad. I was most pleased with the credits, right? 436,000 credits, that seemed like a whole bunch to me, but I guess, I mean, I did have the solo base capture, so that does equate to a lot of credits and experience. Top of the team overall with well over 2,000 base experience, which is always pleasant to see. And you can see my team there. I mean, most of us were really on the ball here, although it really did seem to be one-sided, so it's probably more of a situation where people just weren't able to kill enemy ships fast enough, right? Things were just happening too quickly. We can see how some of the damage has been spread out here amongst some of the enemy ships, and of course, when all is said and done, I do end up walking away with 325,000 credits. Get myself a nice commander point there as well, which is always great, because again, you know, working on getting them the concealment expert. Anyway, that is today's video. I know it's shorter than normal, but obviously, you know, the video quality here, you can see I'm still having video quality issues, really making me angry. So this was the replay I had, and I thought it was best to get it out rather than do nothing. Anyway, leave your comments in the video comment section below. Love reading those and responding back to them. Hit the old like button if you did like today's video. Hit subscribe if you are not a subscriber. And as always, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.